Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Divine Earth Angel. I'm Nicole. If you're new, welcome to my channel. So lovely to have you. Today, I have a very, very special surprise, a gift. I have Victoria from the Crystal Girl Tarot. Please say hi to
Hello, everyone.
Victoria. She's amazing. She's beautiful. She's got shining light all around her. And it's true. And I'm really excited to bring her to you guys because she's one of the first tarot readers I discovered on YouTube. And I've been watching her for a while, and she's really, really good. And her energy is so lovely. So I'm so happy that she's here with us today. It's really awesome. Today we are going to be going into the Magic and Illumination series, which started with Ryan from Rock the Divine. There's lots of amazing, amazing healers and earth angels and tarot readers that will be joining us. But today we are here all about Victoria. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Victoria. Where are you from?
Well, first of all, I'm very excited. This is one of the first kind of interview things I've ever done, so this is very exciting for me. And I'm really excited. I didn't know that was your first tarot reader. That's so exciting. So I've only been doing tarot for about over a year. I mean, I started my channel January 2019, so I've only been doing it for about a year. But I've been very intuitive my whole life. I'm like a triple water sign, so I'm like super like fluid, and it's not been the best of my times for me, but because I was so intuitive at such a young age, it's very natural for me to kind of get a grasp on intuition. So the fact that when I first got my first card deck, which I stole off my mum, the first time I held it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I loved kind of getting all the different messages, and like every message was different every single time. I was like, whoa, how does this happen? But yeah, I ended uni like about 2 years ago, doing a photography course, and I thought, this isn't what I want to do as a career, not yet anyway. And I thought, well, I really like this tarot community. I was first inspired by Kaylee Jean. She's amazing. And I just got straight into it. I was like, wow, I didn't know you could talk about like zodiac signs on YouTube. Like, that's really strange. And then it resonated with me, like the reading that she did, and I was like, wow, I got to get into this. So yeah, it just snowballed from there, and I absolutely love connecting with you and with everyone on this like platform. Everyone is so lovely, and yeah, it's just been an absolutely amazing journey. So yeah.
That's so awesome. I would have never guessed that you'd only been practicing for a year. Like,
Yeah.
I've been practicing. I haven't done like I've done like a few readings, but it's like I'm the kind of person where I never feel ready, and like the angels are always like pushing me, like go, do it. You're never
Oh, I
gonna
love
feel
that.
perfect or completely ready. So just get out
Yeah.
there. It was like I study everything. I'm like I study a card a day, and I keep doing readings. And what made you get that push to go ahead and put yourself out there? That's a big leap.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like because whenever I kind of get a spark of creativity, I have to go with it. I was literally talking about this to a family member recently, and there's a lot of people that I meet where they have ideas, like you said, like you have ideas and you just want to keep going with research and you just want to keep going. For me, I am a bit impulsive, to be fair though. So when I kind of get the inspiration, I'm like, okay, I have to do it, you know. And when something clicks and it feels right, I think because naturally I'm very intuitive, I know exactly that it should be something I'm doing. And the worst thing it will do is not end up working out, you know. Yeah, it's been a very strange journey for me. But there wasn't really a main reason why I wanted to do it. I've always been interested in crystals. That was like the main thing that I loved. But because I was in school and kind of education for such a long time, I was never able to actually execute it. Like, I know all these young like tarot readers who are like 16 and 14. I'm like, how do you get into it with all this, like with everything that's going on? But like, I knew when I left uni that I just wanted to be myself, and I wasn't ever able to kind of to do that when I was at university because it was so constricting.
Yeah.
As soon as I left, I thought, okay, now's the time to do something that I really, really want to do that's completely myself. And then I found the readings on YouTube, and that's what sparked it completely, because I felt like a safe space where I could be like my spiritual self, you know? So, yeah.
That's awesome. And I didn't know there were so many tarot readers and
Yeah,
all of them
exactly.
on YouTube. Like I used
Mm,
to just watch YouTube for like I used to watch like Ask Angels and like Victor Odo, Aaron Dowdy, like you know the whole spiritual awakening community. And I don't even remember how I stumbled upon oracle cards and tarot readers. And the first one, it just resonated so, like you said, with the girl that you watched. And I was like, and I just got that kind of like intuitive
mm,
spark, like maybe I should try that, like you know. And I got my first cards, and I've only been doing with oracle cards lately, but the tarot cards, I feel like there's so much, there's so many ways to read them, but I'm just
yeah.
read intuitively. You have the gift. You don't have to
Mm,
overstudy and everything. And do you find
yeah.
that you read intuitively, or did you like study all of the symbols and all the symbolism and colors and
Um, well, I didn't even really know much about tarot. Like, I only had the first card deck that I had was an oracle deck, so I didn't even know tarot existed. I didn't even know like it was safe to kind of do it on YouTube. I thought, oh, it's too kind of like woo woo, you know. I thought it was like
yeah,
too much, so I thought people wouldn't even be interested in it. But it's been around for like such a long time.
yeah,
But I thought because I've been denied so much of my spirituality, it was really, really hard for me to kind of be open about it. So when I actually found tarot and I got my first tarot deck, like I've seen like Gem Goddess use it on YouTube, and I was like, oh my God, like when I first bought it, I was like, oh my God, this is almost like I've got part of like another YouTuber like with me, you know, with these card decks. So the first tarot deck that I bought was the Rider Waite, because it was the easiest one to learn, because it's just, you know, the simple one, and I connected with it straight away. I mean, oracle cards I feel the most drawn to because of pictures and colors, and I've always been like connected like visually. But with the tarot, I mean, I studied it for it like 2 weeks, I think, 2 weeks at the most, and then I thought, you know what, I'm ready for it. You know,
oh, I love
like I
that.
was basically going through it with like experience. That's the main reason like how I learned it. I didn't really do it kind of, okay, this is the Ace of Cups, this is the Ace of Wands. It was more about like kind of learning through doing readings and how the energy kind of aligned with that card. So say if I would have like the Ace of Wands and I would feel like a drive of energy forward, I'd be like, oh, okay, so that's what the Ace of Wands means. So every time I get that, I'd have that same surge of energy when I had that card come through. So it is kind of like a combination. I mean, to be fair, you don't have to be the most intuitive to read tarot. When I first started using it, as I say, I've always been intuitive, but it's never been at the forefront all the time. Like I've never had to constantly use it, you know.
Mhm.
So when I got it, I was kind of confused. Okay, why am I not getting messages straight away? But I think it's because basically the energy like fluctuates up and down.
Yeah,
So I do feel like if you are somebody who wants to learn tarot and you're starting off, then not to feel kind of burdened if you can't actually tune in as quickly, because it is something that you do learn over time, and everyone learns differently, you know. And also it does depend on how you've been brought up, how open you are, what you've been through, and if your body's able to allow that kind of intuition to come in, because we're not taught to be intuitive, you know. It's something we all naturally have as spiritual beings, but nobody ever tells us you're allowed to do that. You know, everyone always tells you, no, you're not allowed to do that. No, it's something you keep private, you know, keep secret, or something, you know, you tell somebody when you're ready. But a lot of the times people go through spiritual awakenings and they don't know what this is, you know, they don't know what's happening. So a lot of the time it's so confusing, and you feel like you're the one that's kind of the one who's in the wrong, you know. So I've kind of gone off a tangent, but I could talk about
no,
that for a long time.
it totally resonates 100% because
Mm,
I experienced the same. I've always been intuitive, and I've always seen angels and fairies and spirits. Like they've always been around. And it's
mm.
like I would tell my mom, she's like, don't tell anyone else. Like
Oh,
you keep that to yourself. So it's like you get
exactly.
this repression and this, you know, programming. But I was always really resistant to the programming of like
Mm,
society and church and everything, and just kind of kept it to myself. So it is a lot to kind of
mm,
bring that to the forefront and be comfortable sharing it. Like that's a big mental block you've been
100%.
told your whole life.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Everyone goes through it as well. You hear all these stories. and the tarot community, and you get every different story. You know, some people were woken up like a year ago, some people have been awake for like 6 months, you know, and it's like, I love how everyone is sharing their different stories and you kind of compare it, because for me, I always think that, oh, everyone's intuitive at like such a young age, but that's not true. You know, some people have been suppressed by like religion or anything. I'm not saying religion's a bad thing. Like, I love religion; it's kind of what guides you. But if it doesn't resonate with you anymore, then you can start questioning yourself, and it gets really confusing, especially if that's all you've known. You know, and it can isolate you. So that's why I love like connecting with people on here, because it just makes you feel like you're part of this big community that's like really starting to open up, especially where everyone's becoming more awake with this age of Aquarius. It's really coming in, you know.
I know, it's really awesome. Just watching everyone kind of be a little bit more open, and I love seeing like young high school kids. The things they're talking about now is
Yeah.
like I would have never dared open my mouth about the
No,
stuff that I knew. And it's
no,
like now
not at all.
they're just like Chipotle talking about it. I'm like, that's so cute.
I
It's
know.
really awesome.
It's
The planet
crazy.
really is waking up. So
Exactly.
guys, tarot cards, oracle cards, they're all a form of divination. They're cartomancy, but there are other forms, and I know I use my pendulum, and I can scry a little bit. Like, what other forms of divination do you use to connect and get messages?
So I use some astrology dice. They're really good to use. They're a very new thing for me. I never learned about them. That's a kind of idea I got from the Gem Goddess as well, because she was a very big influence on me when I first started.
Same.
Yeah, she's
She's
amazing.
always so polished and cool. Like, I want to be just like that. Is like, no, just kind of have to make it work.
Same. And I like using dice. Charms is a new one for me. I mean, my favorite one is oracle cards, because I've used them from when I was quite young, and I'm just very connected with them. I just love photos and pictures, and I'm very arty as well. Like, I love artwork, I love drawing, everything like that. I mean, my favorite thing really is to just do it intuitively.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult because you need to kind of be in that zone. But when you've kind of done readings for a while, or you've done tarot for a while, you kind of got the momentum going, you've got that kind of awareness right up there in the forefront, then that is kind of the best way to do it, because then you're really connecting with who you are. You know, you're connecting with that part of you that needs to come out more, that we get like suppressed on a daily, like doing daily tasks and going to work. So if you can kind of get in your own space. And selenite, I always say selenite's really, really good. I always hold my little selenite when I'm doing readings, or when I deliberately need to tune in to a specific thing. That really, really helps. So crystals are amazing for that sort of thing. There's loads of different types of crystals that you can use. You can use raw crystals, I feel like are the best ones, because they've been less manufactured. But yeah, I mean, cards are my favorite. There isn't really any sort of other tools I can really think of in terms of ones I haven't used before. I mean, like scrying's really good. I sometimes call it scribing. I don't know why, but I don't know kind of like where that's coming from. But yeah, I mean, automatic writing's amazing. Like, I think it can take a little bit of time to get used to, because you think that doesn't make any sense. What did I just write? And we can stop ourselves, and then that can cause like blockages, you know. So like I said before, it's kind of dipping in and out. So you just kind of go with whatever you feel is natural, and that's the best way to do it, because then you're not blocking yourself, and being kind to yourself as well, you know, because a lot of trauma and things can come up when you're doing intuitive work, because there may be things that you haven't processed yet. So it's not a scary thing, and I'm probably making it sound scary, but I think because I've been through so many different things, I think being a Scorpio as well, like we do have a tendency to go through a lot of trauma, and especially at an early age. Oh my God, I never knew that. Oh my God, yes, exactly. Like, we're just so intuitive, you know, and especially even if you're not a Scorpio, you know, everyone's intuitive their own way. But for some reason, us zodiac signs, like, we just seem to constantly be in that trauma zone, you know. So
Yeah.
I think that's what's helped us to kind of keep sane
Yeah.
is to constantly just ask our guides, you know, like for advice and like kind of help this kind of movement move forward, you know.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's a big part of my channel. Because as a healer, like I was guided to start my channel by Metatron and Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel, and I didn't think I was ready, but they were like, just go out there and get it done because you have to share this gift. And it's like, it's and it's really interesting to learn that a lot of the traumas I have experienced are making me able to help others who experience these things heal on like a deep level. And and I didn't realize it was a lot to do with like Scorpios, and but I'm starting to realize that because
Mm-hmm.
we feel so deeply and we want to help so many people, and we get taken advantage of a lot. So yeah, I'm trying to teach people how to protect themselves as well, energetically and boundaries.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah. I did want to talk about, since we're talking about magic and illumination, um, Victoria has disclosed that she is actually a witch, which is amazing. I love that. I used to wish I was one growing up, but I love how the similarities between earth angels and witches are like, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless someone told you, no, I'm not that, I'm this. And it's like, we're all here to help, bring more light to the world. And while I think it's beautiful because she also communicates with angels. The angels are there to help her clients and help herself. And I think that's beautiful. So what do you think about magic? Do you think it like magic is just intention setting, right?
Yeah, 100%. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it just depends on your views, you know, and
Yeah.
everyone's got a different view on witches, and that's completely fine, you know. It's the same with anything in the spiritual community. It can have different views. I mean, I would say that I am a witch just because, like, I mean, I used to get so bashed down when I was younger for, like, I think people say, oh my God, you're such a witch. Like, I'm born on Halloween. I used to have a black cat. I'm very spiritual, you know, all the signs were there, but there was this kind of negative, like, kind of theme towards witches, you know. It was very kind of evil and like kind of voodoo, that sort of thing, like anything that kind of causes discomfort and disruption and anything kind of evil, you know. But I feel like since all of this new kind of turning point with YouTube and with tarot communities coming through, witches are kind of like a very normal thing, you know. Yeah, 100%. Like, I would totally class myself as a witch. I think more I would class myself as more of like a crystal child sort of thing,
Oh, that's
because it's that kind of element of like fairies and that sort of thing. Because I find myself having quite a light energy, not so much in the kind of witchy realm. Would say I am a witch, but I am more of like a crystal child as kind of combined, because I know you can get different types. You can get like star seeds, you can get like, you know, channelers, mystics. There's so many different words to all these things. But yeah, definitely. I mean, being a witch, I mean, I don't intentionally do magic, like not now, but I probably will in the future.
yeah.
I have done a couple of spells before, but for me, it is mainly about the experience of doing the magic itself, because you're intentionally taking out that time to do that thing for yourself. So
Yeah.
essentially, it is about self-love, because you're deliberately getting all those things together to create that kind of spell, you know. So I do feel like it is a very important thing to do if that's what you're drawn to, but there's no kind of rules, you know. I definitely think it is more about intention setting and kind of drawing in that positive energy as much as you can. And I do feel like it's very powerful. It can be very powerful, especially if you're concentrating on that and you know that it's going to work. I feel like it's really good to actually sometimes call it like a spell or something, because you're intentionally putting that intention on there. Do you know what I mean?
I do. Yes, I do.
Mm.
And I think that's lovely that you spoke about that. I do find that, yeah, it is unfortunate that, any kind of intuition has been labeled as evil a lot of
Mm.
times. And I do want to point out to the public, like to kind of dispel some of the negativity that, earth angels can very easily get labeled as witches. And just because we have a connection with source and the angels. And you know, we're kind of taught to only listen to the priest or the preacher and let them give us the information and suppress our own intuition and our own connection, because we all have these answers inside of us. And I think that's really important for people to understand. And I love that it's getting more mainstream, which is nice, because there's a lot of people out there who are experiencing these things and don't know what to do with it. They're afraid of it. And when you put fear into anything, it just attracts more fear, it attracts more negative situations. So we have to help people love themselves for what gifts they have and help them spread it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly.
Yes.
And more people are getting more comfortable with it as well, and like talking about it openly, which is a really like huge thing, because I was never able to talk about it with anyone.
Yeah.
I never, out of my entire like education, I'm only 23, so I've only been out of like full on education for like like a year and a half, I think,
Yeah.
or like 2 years, so roughly around that time. So, and throughout that entire time, basically my whole life, I never felt comfortable to ever talk about it with anyone. And I think it's because there's so many children and teenagers and even adults who are so suppressed because they're just scared, you know, because they want to just blend in, which is perfectly fine. But we're not meant to blend in, you know, we're all completely different. And what makes us kind of the same is the fact that we all just need to love each other, basically. It's pretty simple. But it's so, like, you know, it's so overlooked.
Yeah, that's so funny, because like I just watched this. So Stephen King was one of my favorite authors growing up, and everyone knows I'm an author as well. I write fantasy. I kind of shed a little bit of light on like elementals and like what magic really is. And I was watching Doctor Sleep, which is one of his most recent movies, and it's a sequel of The Shining, which is one of his most famous movies and books. And I was so amazed, because even reading it as a child, looking at it now, he was basically talking about our light. The shining is shining your light. And I was like, I did not pick up on that when I was a little girl. And the ways, like, you know, a lot of a lot of people want to, you know, not shine. They want to dim their light to keep your head down, conform, fit in. But we need to shine more. We need to shine that light, because when you shine your light, it may make some people uncomfortable, but it may also trigger them to shine theirs as well. Because, you know, that's just kind of how it works. When your vibration really triggers other people to shine brighter or vibrate higher, like, I just thought that was amazing. Like, I was like, he knows what he's talking about.
Crazy. I got like shivers all over my body when you said that.
I know, it's awesome. It's really cool.
I love that when it's coming into like films and stuff. Even like I'm a massive Marvel fan, and like Doctor Strange. Oh my lord! When I first watched that, when I was in the cinema with my mum, and I basically got all my spirituality from my mum. You know, she was a great influence. And I was sitting there, and we literally finished watching the film. We looked at each other, and we were like, "Whoa, that was so spiritual!" Like, oh my god! Like, I never even thought that would even be able to come out. You know, like, is astral travel? There's like projection. Oh my god! Like, it was just a whole thing, and I was just like, okay, let's just chill for a sec, and let's just think about what we just watched, because that was amazing, you know.
I agree. I thought the same thing. I was like, he's got sacred geometry coming out of his hands and casting, you know, like, it was so cool. And it's like, that's been around for a long time. So whoever wrote that kind of knew what they were tapping into. And it's insane, like with the girl, the empath from the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like
100%.
It's like so true. It's like it's so cool. And a lot of people think it's made up. It's like, no. Those are real gifts.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. So is there anything else you want to tell us about? Like, was your mother also like into, like you said, you got your cards from her, so she did this as well? Yeah.
So she's never really done kind of anything tarot based, really,
Yeah.
but she is very much into kind of aliens, Palladians, anything that is kind of astral and spacey, she's full on into it. Like conspiracy theories, anything to do with kind of connecting with another being, she's full on for it, you know. For me, I'm not 100% kind of connected with aliens. I don't have anything against it. I think it's amazing. It
Yeah.
fascinates me. But for me, angels and kind of fairies, that sort of realm is more kind of where I'm at. I feel like because of that crystal child kind of thing, it's like I need things that are more kind of lighter vibration for me. Otherwise, it kind of gets overwhelming, you know, because I just want to help and connect and be with everything and everyone. So, um, yeah. So I mean, with my mum, she is a very spiritual person. I mean, she, as I said, she was the first one who gave me like the oracle deck. I mean, I kind of stole it from her, but she's fine with it. Um, but yeah, it's amazing kind of the connection that I can have with her in terms of spirituality. And it's interesting when I kind of hear stories about people when they don't have a connection with their family members or their parents, when they can't connect with them on a spiritual level. And I kind of think, wow, I'm actually very lucky, you know, because I do have at least one parent that I can connect with on a spiritual level, you know. But it doesn't mean that you're kind of any less than. It doesn't mean you can't have those gifts. It doesn't mean you can't go into it, you know. If anything, you've got more of a boost because you're kind of connecting more within yourself, and you're having to look at yourself and think, actually, what is it that I want to like commit to, you know, that I haven't had from that parent. But yeah, 100%, like she's very, very spiritual. I mean, she's totally fine with everything that I do. She full on is all for it. I mean, on my first live stream, she commented and she was like, oh, hi, Vicky. And I kind of ignored it. And I was like, this is awkward. But now I'm like, no, she's probably going to come on my channel at some point. You know, she loves talking about things, and she's not kind of 100% with like YouTube and stuff, like with technology. She's not like a, like 100% kind of, I mean, I'm more technology based. I mean, you know, I'm the younger generation
Yeah.
also. But I mean, I think she'd be really interested in doing it. I think she really, really enjoys that. I
That
mean,
was
she's an Aries, so me and her balance each other out really, really well. I
yeah.
mean, with my Scorpioness, when I'm getting too intense and cray, she's like, okay, calm down, Victoria, calm down.
That is
So yeah,
beautiful. That is a blessing to have a parent that you can connect with on that way. Like,
yeah.
that's so nice. I just moved back in with my parents, and they offered to support me because I have two little ones, and I'm just
Oh,
kind of out there trying to do it on my own. And they offered to bring me in, and I was like, it was divinely orchestrated, and I
wow.
resisted, but it was orchestrated to for a reason, and I see that reason. For one, it's mending, familial ties and familiar bonds, and for another thing, my vibration being so high, I've seen change within them. My dad's looking up chakras and
Oh my
astronomy,
God.
and my mom is starting to have dreams again. She hasn't had dreams in years, and I
Wow.
knew that she'd connected with Metatron when she was a little girl. I didn't tell her that's who it was, but I know the stories, and she's starting to have dreams again, like intuitive dreams. I'm like,
Wow.
my job here is working.
I love that. That is so beautiful.
It is. It really is. It's really nice. But it looks like my Mac is about to die. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wrap it up. But I'd love to talk to you again another time, sometime whenever you're free.
Yeah,
But
100%.
it was really nice. I felt like crying when you talked about your mom because I
Oh,
felt that energy was so loving. Wow, it's awesome. So Victoria is available on YouTube. She does private reading. She does tarot cards. She's really really good. You can find her at the Crystal Girl Tarot on YouTube, and you can also find her at the Crystal Girl underscore on Instagram. Do you have a Facebook page?
no, not at the moment. I think I'm just going to mainly stick to Instagram and YouTube for now.
Yeah, kind of keep it. Yeah, that's wise. So you guys can find her there. Please check her out, support her, get a rating. She's very very good.
Thank
Is there anything
you. Thank
else
you for this opportunity as well. It's been absolutely
you're
amazing talking to you.
welcome. I trust the guidance I get. Like when I feel intuitive pull somewhere, I don't feel it for every one I watch, but I definitely felt it the pull to you, which is really nice.
Oh, I
So,
love that. Keep
yeah.
going, girl.
Yay, thank you. You too. 23.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing. You got
Thank
like,
you so much.
imagine you in like 10 years. You're going to be like, ooh.
I'm going to be flying off into space, I think.
Yeah. That's so awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. We will see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Bye.